welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Richard Dugan, your host, and I thank you so much for joining us here. This is our 9 o'clock edition on Wednesday of Tell Me Your Story, where we have as our very special guest, as we are going through one of her books called The Streams of Consciousness. We're going through those 12 streams with LUMARI, who is the author, which actually, I guess, LUMARI isn't actually correct because this information was given to you. So you are sort of the conduit to this information. Is that fair to say, or should I say? Okay, yes, she is the author.
I am the author, and in the same token, I've received the guidance and the information and everything. But anybody who writes something wherever they get their information is the author. So then you don't have to worry about technicalities.
And we'll give that to you. She is the author, ladies and gentlemen, not only of Streams of Consciousness, but of several other books as well that we are going to be telling you about throughout this program. She's a gifted internationally acclaimed intuitive life coach, a creation catalyst, conscious channel, and vibrational activator, I should say, who has guided thousands of people worldwide to awaken and live their higher soul's calling. She has channeled the one book here that I think you folks might be very interested in. It's called Ayahuasca, the original language and vibrational source of creation. She's got several other books as well we'll be talking about. We also want to tell you about a free gift that she has available for you. It is a personal sacred space meditation that helps you feel clear and whole, connected to your deeper self and in touch with your own energy, vision, and purpose. And of course today, as we have been for the past few weeks, been talking about the streams of consciousness. Discover the 12 hidden frequencies of creation. You can activate your higher calling and uplift our world. We can use all the help we can get. Everybody, all right, now everybody, I want you to take a deep breath and lift. As I mentioned, of course, Ayahuasca, the original language and vibrational source of creation. And you have a book on the Akashic Records. That's a lot of fun as well. I think that I've always enjoyed that. And what's nice is that every time I talk about the Akashic Records with one of our guests, I always forget my library card. But what's nice is I don't need one.
That's right.
And maybe one of these days we will take some time and talk about the Akashic Records in depth as far as what you have to reveal in the book, along with Engage the Lights of Awakening, Revelation and Transformation. Revelation and transformation. Imagine what your everyday could look like if you were living inspired. Would love to talk more about that today. Oh, and she also has Collective Keepers of Divine Expression. It is a book that offers clear insights from the Collective Keepers. So just a few of the things that we will talk about down the road. But today is one day that we're setting aside, as we do we have been for the last few weeks, talking about the 12 different vibrations or streams. Today it is the stream of truth. It is so in endless verity of the all and the one. Clouds part to reveal the luminous quintessence. I love that word. That's a great word. Quintessence of being clear, whole, and reverent. Resonance rings true. Almost sounds a little bit like the Boy Scout pledge to be
No.
clean and reverent. But we're talking about truth. The stream of truth. And I think that what we need to do, especially when we're talking truth, because it raises up a lot of stuff for a lot of people as to what they think we're talking about here. So what are we talking about when we're talking about truth?
Well, the reason, one of the reasons anyway, I love this stream. I love all the streams because they bring so much clarity and awareness to frequencies that we either don't think are as powerful as they are, or misinterpret just because of our humanity, because humans can be confused. and because we don't understand the hugeness of what it actually is. So when we're looking at the different streams and the different words and the different qualities, we have a more everyday experience of what those words are. And so when we think of the word truth, most of the times we think, well, someone's telling the truth. Like they're not fabricating anything or they're not making it up. And then we have the opposite in our head, truth and lies and da-da-da-da-da, right? But it's a much bigger frequency than that. It is divine clarity. It is the frequency that brings us a direct and genuine experience of recognition, which enables us to speak things, and also to be able to see the divine in all things. And so it awakens a place within us, and it also awakens and reveals things in the all, in the universe, that are clear, authentic, and transparent, so that when you think of those words, then you can understand what truth is, because truth isn't, swearing an oath to something.
Right.
It's a much bigger vibration than that. And when you can recognize that, then it's really an opening to embrace truth in the hugest sense and in the personal sense.
So if I'm understanding I don't want to say definition, but the concept of truth in this context, there is no judgment here, because if you go into the intellectual, you go into the ego mind, and you start talking truth. Now you're also, as you stated, we're not talking truth versus lie. I'm going to tell the truth because it's easier to remember, because we're not. And I like that construct, if you will, of this stream called the stream of truth, which then gives us the ability to connect with, in a real sense, with the divine, or, as you said, get a greater glimpse. And I have to wonder too about that, because I used to think about this in terms of I went through a series of very pro-Catholic days. And then very pro-Protestant days. I was born and raised Catholic, so what does that tell you? But it was primarily through this religious station I was at. And I began to wonder, how close could I get? But the way it was always given to me, the information was that I am a certain distance away from the divine. I can only go one half the distance, and one half the distance, and one half the... So I am getting closer, but I can never actually get 100% there.
Why?
Well, see, that's just it. That's my question. Why? Why is it one half and one half and one half?
Yeah, and so when we're looking at the stream of truth, just so people can understand this, so truth is really clarity. It's an immediate understanding. And truth is pristine. It doesn't have any add-ons to it. It doesn't have any extensions. It is just an energy that is so open and sincere and clear, and it resonates to a very high frequency, and it's almost like the ultimate clarity of the universe. When we're looking at it more specifically, so that's the frequency, the biggest frequency of all of it. When we're looking at it more life-oriented, so then there's the clarity in the situation in your experience, in your own knowing, that it goes from something very basic to something completely divine-oriented. And you can perceive truth in many different ways, because that is what part of the reason I'm doing this part of it, right, is because when you're talking about halfway there, halfway there, halfway there, which is, I don't know who told you that, but we're going to correct them.
Yes.
So the thing is that the reason I explained it this way for everybody is because our perceptions continue to grow and expand. And even people where we think of them as being completely enlightened, however you want to look at that, they keep on growing and expanding too. The universe is growing and expanding too. The divine is growing and expanding too. And if that confuses people, just think of it this way. The divine that's creating everything always, why would the divine be only one thing, with only one message, and only one way of creating? I mean, we don't even know half the things that have been created. We're on this planet.
Yeah.
And we see stars, but, I mean, scientists will tell you that right now, they're not even sure if there really was a Big Bang. That's just like old school conversation about how the universe came into being. And so to think that the divine is only one thing, you can relax. You don't have to think that. You don't have to think that there's only one way, because the universe, the divine, keeps on creating all the time. Every petal of every plant is different. So when we talk about truth, we talk about all of these different levels of being, and it gives you, like, when you're connecting with truth, then you don't have to feel like you're far away from anything. Actually, you will understand that you are part of everything, and sometimes you're in receiving mode, sometimes you're in perceiving mode, and sometimes you're in action. And they can all be happening at once. So that when you recognize truth as a pristine energy, that each level of truth may be bigger and bigger and bigger, or may vary, not the truth doesn't vary, the level of it would vary in different circumstances and situations, but truth is always revealed. And one of the things that's so beautiful is when you want to resonate with truth. And again, this is not a conversation about contrast. This is the conversation of the frequency of truth. Then each connection releases confusion and brings you into a higher level of truth where you get to feel the deeper meanings of things. And you can start to see that truth, it resonates all the way through. It's just we don't always understand that it's there.
Yeah. I wonder, too, how what Greg Braden shared with us on a program applies to this, because I don't know, I get the sense that it does. We were talking about his book at the time called The Healing Power of Belief.
Right.
And that he said one day, we will no longer believe. We will know. And it sounds to me as if this stream of consciousness, this stream of truth is, and it is a very personal thing, it is a knowing for self. It's not one of those, and God told me to tell you, Lumari, that. No, that's not what we're talking about. It's like being in that still small place, that quiet, peaceful inner life, maybe listening to that still small voice, which is connected again or is the divine, and maybe not even being given any real information, just being given that sense of shall I put it this way? You are in the right place right now at the right time.
Well, and that's a beautiful way of saying it. So in our growth and expansion as beings, and I work with a lot of people to connect with your higher soul calling. So many people know what their soul calling is. That's the path and their purpose right now. But also there's something bigger, and that is what I call your higher soul calling.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're talking about what you just said, that illumination and that knowing, that's part of what we can play with, right? So that we're inspired our whole lives.
Oh, absolutely.
And when we look at the stream of truth, and speaking of Greg Braden's, conversation about knowing, a lot of times we actually have a knowing, but we are used to arguing with ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And so you could know something, and we're talking in a variety of different ways. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I channel, I'm a psychic, I receive guidance, I feel things. So I have knowing in different areas. And sometimes you just know. Mm-hmm. And if you can embrace that knowing, it opens more for you. And when we're looking at the stream of truth, along with this part of the conversation, what's beautiful about this is truth is a clearing and a revelation at the same time. So when you're connecting with the vibrations and the frequencies in the stream of truth, it shakes apart some of the, I'll just call it pollution.
Okay.
So it shakes apart some of the pollution that's getting in the way of your recognizing that greater clarity of truth. And so that raises your perception and your vibration so that you can connect with things in a more powerful way, and you can see and know and resonate with a greater clarity, because truth always brings clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense, yes.
Good.
Yeah. And we have a lot of trouble not only receiving clarity, but accepting it. I mean, it's one thing to receive the clarity, but to trust it. That's what we talk about when we talk about the still small voice, You can trust. That is the one place. That's why we use the reference to the year of, and then the decade of perfect vision being 2020. That you will get that perfect vision for self from the divine. That truth that is, if I'm correct, exclusively for you, not for anybody else. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, there's multiple different ways of receiving truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it and you're in a personal vortex of exploring or questioning or, looking for other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the frequencies of truth will help you, I'll use that word, help you, connect with things that are more in alignment and clarity of a truth for you personally, if you're looking for it personally. If you're looking at all the different things that are going on in your life and all the different conversations and everything else, and you want to resonate and you want to know and experience the clarity of truth, on the one hand, it's a very personal experience. On the other hand, we have truth from the divine. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about scripture.
No.
Just to be clear with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know you know that. But it is a clear vibration. So when you're looking and questioning for your path or your family or what's next or how you're perceiving things and you want to resonate with truth, that's one thing that it makes it personal. Now, when we're looking beyond our personal experience and our personal perceptions, and we want to connect with a greater sense of truth, that's still the same resonating truth, but it gives you a greater perspective. So if we're looking at the truth of how humanity can connect to uplift all of humanity, many things will come to you. They will come to you because your personal alignment, but they will also come to you so that you can see the greater picture of everything that's going on, so that your individual choices can become global choices. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. I use the term fairly regularly that I want to change the world. But I also recognize, too, that in order for that to take place, there has to be a change within me. And I can facilitate that change, I believe, by, for example, going through these different streams of consciousness. In this case, stream of truth. And that will assist in keeping me on the path that I feel the strongest about. And it's actually not quite as broad as the path of wanting to change the world, but more of wanting to make this life better for myself and for the people around me.
Well, if we look at it vibrationally as well as individual actions, okay? So let's just do this. So we're talking about resonating with truth. We're talking about the stream of truth, and we're having a truth conversation. So one aspect of this is now, I'm going to use your example because you used yourself.
Okay.
So one is you and I are having conversations about truth, and that is going to shift your vibration so that you can be more aligned with, resonating with clarity of truth. As truth comes to you, as you experience it personally, because we're talking about the personal first. Now, the actions you take in the world, in your personal life, are going to resonate from a new level of truth. The actions you take beyond family and friends is going to resonate with another level of truth. Changing the world, you and I are having a conversation about the frequencies and the shifts and the many different things that the streams of consciousness and the stream of truth can bring forward. And everyone who is listening right now can experience the vibrations of the stream of truth so that they have greater clarity within their own soul being and as they look in the world. And, oh, by the way, this is a vibrational conversation because sound travels with vibration. So this whole radio show is vibrating into the universe, and anyone who is open to receiving frequencies of truth will be able to receive them. So our conversation is changing the world. You're asking me questions about the stream of truth is changing the world. And everyone who's listening and absorbing that inquiry is changing the world through the vibration of the stream of truth.
There was a couple on the program years ago who wrote a book. It was also available in Audible. And obviously, you're not going to be reading literally reading the hard copy that you hold in your hands. You're not going to be reading that while you're driving. But they even said with the Audible, you do not want to read that while you are driving. Don't want to be listening to it because it's infused. It's infused with certain vibrations. Are there actually, from maybe your experiences or your awareness, your understanding, are there actually, I don't know how I want to put this, texts or writings or what have you, that actually hold a particular vibration as you, so to speak, take it in?
Well, this whole book is written like that.
Okay.
So
that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, exactly. The whole book is infused, one, with the frequencies of creation and ayahuasca, which I'm sure you've mentioned this before, but I have a book there, so everybody who's interested get it. But it's infused with the frequencies of creation, and those frequencies for this book resonate, the brilliance of it. I mean, it just sometimes blows my mind, but then it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Each person,
yeah,
in the moment they pick up this book, will resonate in a way that's in alignment with them, which is huge because most things don't do that. They may resonate with a particular vibration, but they don't take you personally into consideration. So that's part one of this book. Part two, every stream you read has its own vibration in the book.
Mm.
So while we read it, that vibration of the stream is engaging you in a way that's in alignment with you. So think about that for a moment. I'm glad you asked me the question, Richard. Imagine being able to connect with something that you love, whatever that is, and that frequency recognizes you personally.
Hmm.
And so the vibration, even if it feels a little bit more expansive than you're used to, that vibration is in alignment with you personally in that moment.
Hmm.
That is the frequency of creation. That's the frequencies of ayahuasca, because these energies and these frequencies of creation know you. They know the energies and wisdom that they're bringing forward, like we're talking about the stream of truth. They also recognize you as a being in the universe who is in this moment in time reading this particular book or listening to our conversation, and that alignment of frequency is there as well for all of us to engage and for each of us to engage.
Mm. It sounds like the reader, regardless of the platform,
Mm-hmm.
is receives, I guess is a better word, receives the frequency in a fashion that is custom to them. It's still for, in this case we're talking about the frequency of truth, the stream of truth. So that stream of truth will have, let's just say, for those, if every person on the planet decided they wanted to make that connection, there would be over 8 billion different versions of that stream of truth custom to each person.
Yes. And another way of saying it would, there would be 8 billion experiences.
Ah, good word.
Of the stream of truth that resonated with each person and also brought an enlightening perspective that they didn't know yet about truth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not simply meeting you where you are and telling you, I'll say it this way, telling you the truth you know or that you might be confused about. But this is a stream of truth, recognizing you, looking you in the eyes, embracing you, and then revealing to you higher levels of truth that you can connect with, that you can grow into, that you can be enlightened by or illuminated or inspired by, so that your perspective of truth, of clarity, of revelation shifts in that moment, but it shifts in a way that's completely in alignment with you.
Mm-hmm. And it shifts in alignment where you are at that point in your life.
Exactly.
because we are constantly experiencing and so forth. So we're constantly changing. And so the frequency is modified each time we access it. In other words, it's never the same twice,
Right.
which is astounding when you think about it.
Life isn't ever the same twice.
Yeah. Yeah. It is an amazing thing. We're talking with Lumari. Lumari.com is the website. We're discussing, of course, one of the streams of consciousness. Today it's the stream of truth. And you are listening to Tell Me Your Story. I am, and I haven't used it very often on this program, but occasionally I do. I am Reverend Dr. Dr. D, Richard Dugan, and I'm your host along with Lumari, who joins us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Somebody actually asked me just the other day in a text, we were communicating about something, and they said, Reverend, when did you become a reverend? Ironically, it was a couple of years ago I was reminded that I've been a reverend since 2000, I believe it's 2010. I had completely forgotten about it because I had signed. It's one of those things that unless you went to seminary or something, you do it online, and it's not quite, doesn't have quite the oomph to it that maybe you would if you had that formal education.
No, don't diss it. It
No.
is formal, and
right.
you get to choose the path that you're in, as opposed to connecting with one specific formal way of doing it. So that reverend is more, you as a reverend is more expansive because you got to look at, explore, study, however it works, all of these different things that you bring into higher spirit.
Yeah. And of course, when I am searching through whatever it is, whether it be in the context of an interview, whether it be in the context of what I like to call the ancient wisdom teachings, and searching for, if you will, truth, it's not quite the same thing. But let me ask you this: when doing that kind of searching, it seems to me, would it not behoove myself and others, when they are doing these kinds of studies, research, if you will, or just searching, to call upon the stream of truth to guide us through so we don't get, shall we say, mired in a lot of the earthly stuff that has sort of followed some of this around. And it's just like, okay, it's not going to, converse with you about, well, the translation isn't exactly right because they didn't translate it quite right, and this and that, and all these different arguments. That's not where it's going to take you. It's going to hopefully take you to the heart of, into a depth of what you're into, what you're going into.
Well, that's a beautiful thing that you mentioned, because what in our inquiries or our explorations into, I'll just call them higher knowledge, whether it's soul knowledge or cosmic knowledge, however you look at that, asking to be aligned and to receive truth is a beautiful way of looking at it. Because when you have that criteria or definition of how your journey is going to be, you'll know when you're getting distracted. So there's plenty of other ways to say all the stuff that comes to you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, no, good, bad, in, out, all that stuff, right?
Right.
But if you say, I would like to be aligned with myself, I would like to receive truth, not the truth, and I would like to be in the exploration of this and be able to receive it, then now you're in an exploration that is really, you can really listen. You can really receive. You can really perceive. Because it sets up a focus.
Yeah.
There's always room to say, okay, I mean, I've been channeling and receiving messages and talking with divine ones, my whole life in this one and plenty of other ones. And I always have criteria for what I'm receiving. Otherwise, it's like tickets at a baseball game. There's so many beings who want to be able to have their voice shared. Well, there's no way I can do that. I mean, because there's tons of beings that if you open to receive whatever they want to say, and I have my criteria. And for me, as you know, I'm channeling ayahuasca, and those frequencies in ayahuasca is consciousness and vibration. And even then, I'm not saying that you can wake me up at 2:30 in the morning and give me 20 pages worth of something to write, because that interferes with my own life. I'm going to need that sleep.
Right. Exactly.
I'm in this world too.
Yeah.
I'm going to need that sleep. So when we're speaking, which is a really great thing to look at, when you're asking for inner guidance or outer guidance, and you have the criteria that it's a message that's good for you, and it has truth, or it is truth, then all of a sudden a lot of stuff that's coming your way will not be able to open that door, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would make sense. It really would. We're talking.
Yeah.
We're talking.
I'm glad you asked it.
Well, and the thing too that I find interesting about all of this is the challenge that is before us in terms of, especially in terms of letting go of the personality. Now, I love doing that kind of research. I love talking with, like I've often said, my favorite guests, because I know enough about the study they go through that I like talking with rabbis because of their insight,
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing the research, if you will, or what have you, I want to do my utmost, and sometimes it's easier than others, to stay out of the mind, so to speak, or stay out of the ego, because the trap that I have personally is that now my 6-shooter is now loaded. I have I have the truth. I have the information here. And it's like, but that's not what it's there for. And that's another point we might want to talk about. And that is, all right, so I'm tapped into the stream of truth. And again, I know you've gone through a great deal of explanation thus far.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I going to use it for? I mean, it's great that I feel much more, shall we say, I feel more confident. I feel more centered. I feel more connected, calmer. Those are all wonderful attributes of tapping into the stream of truth. What do I do with it now?
Many different things. So one thing that would seem like general, but it's actually something that you would want to embrace every single day. If you're feeling the resonance of truth every single day, you're in alignment. Okay. So very few people in the world are in alignment all the time. And that's because our world has gotten more and more complicated with all of the different things going on. If you're aligned in truth, which means you're present to the messages that are truth, but also the clarity of being, that you can actually sit there and go, like in a real personal way, you receive something, you listen to it, whether it's your own emotions and everything else, and you just go, oh wait, that's not me. I don't even feel that way. Where'd that come from? Nope. Wrong answer. Bye. Right? I mean, that would make a huge change in every single person in humanity who absorbed other things that, for whatever reason, right?
Right.
And I'm not just saying it like propaganda. Like you could have been inspired by Mickey Mouse, and then all of a sudden you have a whole different idea of the world because of Mickey. All
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just making it up. I have nothing
Sure.
against Mickey Mouse. And like all of a sudden you tune in and go, wait. Oh no, I'm a way more Daffy Duck person. What the hell? Right?
Yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, just resonating with truth like that inwardly is a whole other way of looking at being and being able to use it. Then resonating with it and looking outward into the world, number one, to see what you really resonate with. That's not the conversation that is most exciting or most challenging or any of the other stuff that's going on now, because there's so many conversations going on now that we're actually being bombarded so that we react as opposed to resonate with the truth.
Right.
Because it could be, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm just suggesting a way of looking at things, it could be that nothing is the truth that is coming towards us right now. No news conversation, no speech, wherever it's coming from, what if none of it's the truth? What if none of it resonates with the stream of truth? What then? How do we look at it now?
Mm-hmm.
Because then we can resonate with truth and see, well, it was about 30%, but the rest of it was just, a marching band, which I didn't need. Or, no, I don't resonate with that at all. Or, whatever it is. In that inquiry of being in the vibration of truth, that's a whole other thing. And the thing of it also that is really, interesting isn't the right word, but more intriguing for me anyway, is that truth is also moving. So it's a resonance, like the perfect, well, you're a musician, the perfect pitch. Whatever note it is, because other cultures do not have just the same, structure of music notes that we do. But if you're looking at the piano and you play middle C, it resonates to a complete vibration of middle C. If it goes a little wonky, it's off. And you call the piano tuner.
Yeah.
And so, like, resonating to the stream of truth is having access to the best piano tuner in the universe.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And staying connected to that piano tuner. That, to me,
it always amazes me what, analogies I come up with.
Well, but and they're certainly accurate, because isn't that what we are trying? That's what we're working towards, becoming more, hate to be redundant here, more attuned to the divine, which is the same thing as being more connected with. Maybe in days gone by, it was that, we would have so-and-so who was supposedly the connection between us and the divine, a priest or what have you. And whether that was true or not, today, here in the 21st century, we have literally direct access. We don't need anybody else. By the same token, what is the benefit in regards to this concept we refer to as the truth? What's the benefit of connecting with other, shall we say, maybe this is the wrong word, like-minded, because it's not about the mind, but you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Connecting with others who are really working towards that same, we'll call it path, not goal, but path.
Right.
Because it's not the destination, and we're now talking about that journey. What is that? How does that work?
Well, what's wonderful about, So people who are in, I will say, relative alignment, right? Because I'm really, right now, I'm totally intrigued with your conversation about talking with rabbis. But people who are really in relative alignment with you, you can have lots of different conversations, and they can reveal truths to you that you don't know.
Mm.
And you can reveal truths to them that they don't know. And then in the broader vibration, you can all be in truth, in the frequency of truth.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things in my book that I talk about is that there's 4 different aspects of connecting with and understanding with truth. So it can be truth as primary. So this is like experience is something completely fundamental. There's an understanding of truth is truth, right? Not what is the truth, but what truth is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Just a slightly different, linguistic clarification there.
Right. No, I understand.
So that you understand truth is like a fundamental, primary experience. And then another aspect of it is truth is clarity. Well, that means that it's revealed, it's clear, it's unpolluted, it resonates at a very specific level where nothing is taken away from it and nothing is added onto it. And that's another way of saying, like, the note that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's truth as distinction. Being able to recognize the distinction, the truth, in distinguishing it from other things, from other events, other notions, other ideas. They can all be there, but if you have it as a distinction, then you are able to perceive the difference between the resonance of truth, whatever the conversation is.
Right. Right.
And then the other is truth is absolute. And this for me, they're all scientific, but this for me actually has a scientific edge to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is, when we talk about absolute, and I know Einstein would be able to describe it much better than I can, but it is like known and revealed. It's the absolute nature of truth. It's genuine. And in science, an absolute is kind of like the premium of the knowing, of the experience. And so when you're in that absolute, then it's unwavering and genuine and complete. And so if you look at those 4 aspects of truth, then you get to see that even while we know that the resonance of truth is clear, and that really, really clarity is the one that we notice most, but having it primary means that this is a prime frequency of the all and the universe. And then having it as a distinction means that you can recognize truth.
Yeah.
And we want to learn how to recognize it more and more. It's not that we don't. It's that just we may not be in the space. And then having it as absolute, it's like, oh, right. You don't have to have any conditions to it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. We need to wrap things up here. This has been a fascinating conversation regarding the stream of consciousness, the stream of truth, and the blessings of the stream of truth. May you present truth as a very clear, rich, vibrating, enlightening expression of the divine. May you know highest integrity of being as a pristine and objective wholeness and recognition of the divine. And with that, Lumari, I thank you so much. Oh, I take that back. There is a little bit more. May you celebrate and know the beauty within the clarity and essence of life, and may you become a vessel of divine clarity, illumination, and recognition. Lumari, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you, Richard. It's my honor and my pleasure, and I hope everybody connects with the book and with us and more. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Richard.
You bet. And do that through LUMARI com. That's the website we'll be linked to. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to all. Thank Jeanette, I am still listening. Dad, continue to be happy. Smokey, I will see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.